Anybody know that he's wonderful on today? I do believe there's a word from the Lord on today. If you will turn with me to Philippians chapter 4, 13. Philippians chapter 4, 13. I believe some of you are familiar with that particular text. If you'll stand for the reading of the Word of God, you'll stand all over the place. The word of the Lord reads, "Therefore, my brethren, dearly beloved and longed for, my joy and my crown." That's not the verse that I want. Verse 13, I'm sorry. Computer's smarter than me. All right, it says, "I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me." Somebody knows that today. I want to tag this particular text by simply saying, God's override. God's going to give you an override. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. Override. Has anybody ever had to get one before? Numerous times I've been to the store and the person at the register needed to change something, but their position wouldn't allow them to make the change. Therefore, they needed someone higher than them on the totem pole, someone with more authority in order to make the change. And when that person of higher authority showed up, they were able to give me an override. Also, I've gone to the store and asked for discounts because I bought the floor model. Anybody ever bought a floor model? And the price came up in the computer as the regular price instead of the discounted floor model price. And therefore, I needed an override to ignore the price that was shown in the computer. And then there have been times when the people on the floor who were working the floor said that they could not see something being a certain price when I asked for it. And I went all the way to the top management to see if I could get the item cheaper, because I knew in my spirit I should be paying less. And since I did not give up, since I refused to give in, I got the price that I wanted. Church, the point I'm making is every now and then, you got to shut people down and go with what's down on the inside of you. I came to tell somebody every now and then, you got to shut the naysayers down and listen to the spirit that dwells within you. Whenever possible, church, ignore all the negative signs and all the derogatory demonstrations and go with the voice that's speaking something different to you. Think about it. How many times have you heard no and accepted that no was the final answer? How many times have you been told the task would be impossible and you shouldn't even consider it, yet alone try to do it? But when I look at impossible, impossible is defined as something that is incapable of being or of occurring. It's found to be incapable of being done, of being attained or fulfilled. So oftentimes there are things in life that seem impossible. There are tasks in life that seem impossible to accomplish. There are dreams that seem impossible to reach. But I believe that is for the folk who don't have a relationship with my God. Anybody know? Anybody in here have a relationship with the Most High God? But the way I see it is, if you accept that these things are impossible, you are giving up on the power of God to accomplish anything in your life. When you believe the no and you start to speak the no yourself, and you say that certain things cannot happen, you are no longer believing in God, church, as one who has authority over all things. You are no longer believing in God as one who has all power in God's hand. You're no longer believing in God, the one who works miracles and is the God of the impossible. So I came to tell somebody today, don't accept the no. Don't receive it's impossible. Believe that all things are possible with God. Somebody's going to go with me today. Church, your own determination has the right got you. And that God will do it on your behalf. I must admit now it's hard to believe the promises of God when everything around you says no, looks like no, feels like no, and even the people are screaming no. But we must remember and hold to the fact that there is always a higher power, and that is the God that we serve. His power is that which covers us, protects us, cleanses us, and destines us for great things in life. So whenever we are feeling the weight of the world, feeling the ugliness of society, feeling the challenges of Satan, and even the insecurity of self, we must rise above that which we hear, that which we see, that which we feel, and grab a hold to God's word and God's promises and never let go. Realizing that we do have promises, how do we trust that the override that we need of the world's no will become God's yes? I believe in order to do that, you must, 1, believe, 2, trust, and 3, stand. Now, I've always understood that first, you must believe in your heart that God's got the power to do anything but fail. At some point, church, you have to believe in something in life. I just came to tell you that. Some of y'all walking around talking about you don't believe in anybody, nor anything. Yes, I understand that we have had some letdowns. I understand that we've been put down. I understand we've even been beat down until we refuse to believe in anything or anyone in order to not be disappointed again. I understand that. But if you're going to make it, church, you must believe in something. And that something needs to be the Lord. I encourage you today to believe in your heart that God is greater than your circumstance. Anybody willing to believe it on today? Believe in your heart that God is greater than your oppressor. Believe in your heart that God is greater than your instigator. Believe in your heart that God is greater than your agitator and your assassinator. I came to tell somebody God is greater. You got to believe that with everything within you, knowing that God is working everything out for your good. The Bible says I can do all things. You got to believe that today. I came to tell you, if you can understand the word can, you know there's no opportunity for you not to accomplish it. I just took back your opportunity to deny God's power on today. Therefore, if you believe God and believe in the God that's in each and every one of you, then everything you set your mind to do will happen here on earth. But if you accept now that God is not in you and that some other spirit is, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because the word now says that God never fails. Anybody know God never fails on today? So now, if God dwells in you, who never fails, believe that you cannot fail with God. Believe in God, church, and believe in yourself as God believes in you. Know that you and God together can do anything but fail. I'm just looking at the word today. That's all I'm doing. So now I believe in order to accept God's promises and trust God's override, you must 1, believe, 2, trust, and 3, stand. Now if you're able to believe, I believe you'll find your way to trust. Trusting when trust has been broken in the natural so many times, I understand is hard to do. Trusting when people have let you down time and time again can be hard to do. Trusting when people have undermined your trust, abused your trust, and violated your trust can be hard situations around. That's who we're putting our trust in. Church, we're trusting in the God that has never failed us. A God that has been faithful. A God that has been true. A God that is always near. That's who we're putting our trust in. Now, if you've never seen God work a miracle, I'm going to help y'all out. You're going to have to draw from what you've heard the Lord has done from somebody else. Somebody missed it. Let me say it again. Somebody missed it. If you have never seen God work a miracle, or you think you have not seen it, because I would say you've seen it, you're going to have to draw from what you've heard the Lord has done for somebody else. I came to tell y'all, just ask First L today, just ask Tracy today, just ask Simone today, just ask Tony today, just ask Yvonne today about miracles that the Lord can work in your body. They can talk about surgeries where God covered them. They can talk about surgeries where God kept them. They can talk about surgeries where God showed up and was the one who did the operation. They can talk about surgeries where God brought them out better than they went in before. Listen to their testimony. If you've never known God to be a protector and one to cover you from danger seen and unseen, you're going to have to listen to what the Lord has done for somebody else. Just ask Velma about it. Ask Stephanie about it. Ask Monique about it. Ask Deacon Arlene about it. About how God's angels surround you in the midst of being on duty, in the midst of serving, in the midst of you not knowing what's going to happen from one minute to the next. They can talk about serving our country, serving the citizens, and protecting the people as God protected them. Tina can talk about God being a keeper, a hand of protection, and a lamp unto her feet, and a light unto her path. Listen to their testimony until you get your own. Church, we got to put our trust in the Lord. We got to put our trust in the Most High. We got to trust God with all that's within us. But if you ain't never seen God do anything, if you don't know anybody that God has done anything for, it might be difficult for you to trust at first. If you have never needed the Lord to move in your situation, and you don't know anybody who needed God to move in theirs, it might be difficult to trust at first. But if you ever needed the Lord, and God showed up, and made everything all right, you ought to trust God with all that's within you until you die. You ought to trust Him because of your own testimony. Trust God because of your own experience. Trust God because of your observation of the power of God moving in all of the world. In other words, when you think about all that God has done for you, done for your family, done for your colleagues, your friends, and your church, there ought not ever be a time that you don't trust Him with all that's within you. There was a song we used to sing when I grew up down south in Alabama. Some of you may know it. It said, God specializes. It said, God specializes. Anybody know that today? It says, God specializes and He will do what no other power can do. No other power can do. You got to know whatever's going on in your life, God specializes in that. Let me help somebody. Y'all quiet. receive God's override, you must, one, believe, two, trust, and three, stand. Now, if you can trust and believe, then surely you're going to stand. What I like about standing when is that you got to be willing to demonstrate to the world that you got something you're believing in. You can't be no limp now. You can't be a punk. You can't be scary and fake and glittering each and every way. You got to stand for what you believe in. You got to be willing to be called crazy and I if that's what it takes to show that you and God are doing this together. You got to be willing to let people think you're losing your mind with some of the stuff you're doing, some of those moves you're making, some of the things you're saying, Johnny, as you and God prepare to display that, hey, we've been in the Spirit all the time. I've been having a conversation with God. You just didn't know it, and you didn't need to know it. They didn't need to know what you and God was about to do. That's why the Word says, through Christ, God strengthened me. In other words, when you and God get together and do the impossible, all the naysayers and unbelievers will be sitting on the sideline in amazement. They'll be sitting on the sideline in awe, sitting on the sideline in unbelief, sitting on the sideline in bewilderment, getting together in a huddle in disgust. And what you and God did, that the world said could not be done. Somebody better hear me today. All you need to tell them, don't mess with me in God. All you need to tell them, don't sleep on the power my God has. All you need to tell them, if you didn't know, you know now. All you gotta tell them, you might want to get you some. All I know is my God is greater than any other power in this world. Church, when you add Jesus and the Holy Spirit to your team, the world better watch out, because only great things can come from you. I came to tell you, believe that all things are possible with God. Believe on this Pride Sunday that you can do the impossible with the Lord on your side. Whenever God is involved, God always has the last word. I was always amazed that somebody said we would never be an educated people. We would never read and write. But thank God for an override that gave us PhDs, gave us MDs and EDs on today. Somebody said that we would never be a cultured people who enjoy the finer things in life. Thank God for an override on today. Virtual ballet dancers, gave us TV station owners and orchestra conductors. Somebody said we would never be welcome or accepted in the church. But thank God for an override today that gave us deacons and pastors, overseers, should